The bridge of the alien warship Voron's light was filled with a strange silence. The human voice had vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving only the faint hiss of static behind. Captain Reltor stood motionless, staring at the comm screen. His claws trembled slightly. He wasn't sure if what he had just heard was real, or if his mind had finally broken under the pressure of despair. Lieutenant Cerna broke the silence. "Captain, the signal's gone again. I can't trace the source." Reltor didn't move. His voice came out low and tired. "Keep trying." "Yes, Captain." The crew moved fast now, adjusting controls, boosting power to the communications grid, rerouting energy from life support. Every flicker of static made them pause, hoping the voice would return. Minutes passed. The sound came again, a faint hum, then words. "Voron's light. Do you read me?" "Repeat, do you read me?" It was the same voice. Human. Calm, confident, and steady, as if it wasn't trapped in the same nightmare they were. Cerna almost gasped. "It's back." Reltor leaned forward. "Open the line. Now." Static cleared for a moment and the voice came through clearly. "This is Commander Alice of the Dawn Seeker. We picked up your distress signal." Reltor's heart pounded. "Impossible," he whispered. "There is no way a human ship could detect anything here." He spoke into the comm, voice sharp but shaking. "This is Captain Reltor of the Voron's Light. We have sustained heavy damage. Our coordinates—" He stopped. Their coordinates didn't exist on any galactic map. The dead zone was uncharted, hidden. "We are trapped," he finished. The human's voice responded without hesitation. "Understood, Captain. Your ship's power readings are critical. Shut down your primary reactor, immediately." Reltor frowned. "You're giving orders to my ship? If you don't, your reactor will breach in 3 minutes." The alien officers turned to him in alarm. Cerna checked her console and froze. "Captain, he's right. The containment field is collapsing." How could he know that?" another officer asked. Reltor didn't answer. He simply said, "Do as he says." The bridge lights dimmed as the main reactor powered down. The humming sound in the floor vanished, replaced by the eerie quiet of a dying ship. Then silence again. Only static. Reltor's chest rose and fell. "Commander Alice, do you copy?" No response. He turned to Cerna. "Trace him." "I can't, Captain. His signal, it doesn't follow any known pattern. It's like he's talking from outside the system." Reltor narrowed his eyes. "Outside the system? That's impossible." Another officer, Ensign Kaler, looked up nervously. "Sir, what if this is some kind of trap? What if the pirates are using false signals to trick us?" Reltor said nothing for a long moment. Then he replied softly, "Then it's a clever trap. But if we do nothing, we die anyway." He pressed the comm button again. "Commander Alice, this is Reltor. We followed your instructions. Reactor is offline. Now what?" Static filled the speakers. Then, slowly, the voice returned. "Good. You bought yourself time. Listen carefully, your secondary conduits are leaking plasma. Seal them. You'll find manual valves in section D12. Reltor hesitated. "How do you know the layout of my ship?" There was a short pause before Ellis answered. "Because your ship isn't the first one I've seen in this graveyard." The bridge went silent again. Cerna's eyes widened. "Graveyard?" "Yes," Ellis said. "There are hundreds of ships here. All lost in the same field. You were lucky to survive the first hour." Reltor looked at the flickering window screen. Outside, the stars seemed dimmer now, almost swallowed by something unseen. He whispered, "What is this place?" "We call it the Shadow Zone," Ellis replied. "It eats energy. It blocks signals. And it doesn't let anyone leave." The alien captain's throat tightened. "Then how are you speaking to us?" "Old human tech," Ellis said simply. "Something your people stopped using centuries ago. Sometimes the old ways still work." The signal flickered. His voice grew faint. "Seal your conduits. You have less than 10 minutes before the leaks reach your core." Then silence again. Reltor stood, every muscle tense. "Cerna, take a team. Seal D12 manually." "Yes, Captain." He watched her leave, then stared out the viewport. Who was this human? How could he know so much about their systems, their danger, even their ship layout? Minutes later, Cerna's voice came through the internal comm. "Captain, we found the leak." He was right. If we hadn't closed it? The line cut off as a loud metallic bang echoed through the bridge. The lights flickered. Reltor gritted his teeth. "Report. Explosion in section D12, but the valve is sealed. We're stable." The The captain exhaled, relief washing over him. Get back to the bridge. He turned to the comm. Commander Ellis, if you can hear me, thank you. No reply came. For the next hour, the Voron's light drifted in tense silence. Systems stabilized. Life support held steady. But there was still no sign of the human ship. The crew whispered among themselves. Maybe it was a ghost transmission. No, he knew too much. What if he's been trapped here for years? Reltor ignored them all. He couldn't stop thinking about the humans' words, hundreds of ships lost in the same field. He brought up the long-range scanners, but all they showed was static and black fog. It was as if the universe itself had vanished around them. Then a soft chime. Cerna returned to her station. Captain, I'm getting something new. It's faint, but it looks like a transponder signal. From Ellis. She nodded. Yes, Captain. Distance unknown, but it's close, very close. The crew crowded around the screen. A small white dot blinked among the static. A ship. Reltor felt his pulse rise. Magnify. The image flickered, blurry and weak. But they could see enough. A small, heavily modified human vessel. Burn marks covered its hull. Lights flickered dimly. It was moving slowly toward them. The human's voice came again, clear now, cutting through the noise like a blade. Captain Reltor, don't panic. I'm locking onto your position. Just stay calm. Reltor stared at the image. The ship was smaller than a shuttle, yet it was navigating a region where even dreadnoughts had vanished. Commander Ellis, he said softly, what are you? There was a pause. Then the voice replied, calm and steady as ever. Just someone who refused to die here. The transmission cut, but this time the silence felt different. Not hopeless. Not empty. Reltor looked at his crew. For the first time since the ambush, he saw something in their eyes that he hadn't seen in days. Hope. Outside, the stars shimmered faintly through the void as the human ship drew closer. And something vast moved behind the darkness, watching them both. The human ship moved closer, gliding through the darkness like a silent ghost. The alien crew of the Voron's light watched in silence as the tiny vessel approached, its hull scarred, its engines flickering weakly. No one spoke. Even the air felt heavier, as if the void itself was holding its breath. Captain Reltor stood at the center of the bridge, eyes fixed on the screen. His claws tapped slowly on the console. He had seen many human ships in old archives, but never one like this. This one looked ancient, patched, armored, and built for survival, not beauty. Is that really a human ship? Lieutenant Cerna whispered. Reltor didn't answer. He couldn't take his eyes off the faint blue glow beneath the ship's hull, an unknown energy signature that pulsed like a heartbeat. The comm crackled to life again. Captain Reltor, this is Commander Ellis. Maintain your current position. Do not move. Reltor replied, understood, Commander. You're approaching fast. Good. I need to align my signal array with your ship. This zone interferes with everything, sensors, comms, even time itself. Time? Reltor repeated, confused. What do you mean? You'll see, the human said quietly. The line went dead. For a moment no one spoke. Then Ensign Kaler broke the silence. Captain, our external sensors are acting strange. I'm getting echoes. Multiple readings of our own ship. Echoes. Reltor frowned. Explain. It's like there are copies of us out there. Reflections. But they're not exactly matching our movements. The crew exchanged nervous glances. The air seemed colder now. Cerna whispered, what is this place? Reltor turned toward the window. Outside, the stars were dimming, swallowed by a thick black mist that spread like ink across the sky. The mist moved unnaturally, shifting like a living thing. Commander Ellis, Reltor said into the comm, what is that? The human voice returned, calm but heavy. That's the field. The reason no one leaves the shadow zone. Reltor's eyes narrowed. A living field? Not alive in the way we understand. It feeds on energy, power, light, even sound. The more you struggle, the faster it drains you. The alien captain felt a chill down his spine. Then how are you still alive? I learned how to hide from it, Ellis said simply. Your ship's reactor made too much noise. That's how it found you. Reltor looked at his dim bridge lights and dying systems. We've gone silent. Good. Stay that way. The less energy you use, the safer you are. The crew listened in silence, the only sound the faint crackle of the human signal. The unknown darkness outside pulsed faintly as if it could hear them. Then Ellis spoke again. I'm sending you a data burst. It's a scan of the zone. You'll see what I've seen. Cerna tapped her console. Receiving transmission, now. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a three-dimensional map of the region. The crew leaned in and gasped. The map was full of wrecks. Hundreds of ships. All dead. Different designs, different species, warships, freighters, colony vessels. All trapped in a spiral pattern around the zone's center. The ships were drifting, motionless like skeletons frozen in space. Cerna whispered, "By the stars, how many are there?" Ellis's voice answered, grim. "I stopped counting at 600. Reltor's chest tightened. "All of them destroyed by this field?" "Some destroyed," Ellis said. "Others, just lost. No signals. No bodies. Some vanished completely." The crew stared in horror as the hologram zoomed in on one massive wreck, an old Draxian dreadnought. Its hull was twisted as if something had pulled it apart from the inside. Reltor's voice was low. "What could do this?" Ellis's tone hardened. "That's what we're going to find out." The signal flickered and static washed over the speakers again. Outside the ship, the darkness seemed to move closer, swirling like smoke. The bridge lights dimmed. "Power drop." Cerna shouted. "Something's draining our systems." Reltor snapped, "All non-essential units shut down. Keep shields at minimum." Sparks burst from a console. The ship shuddered violently. Outside, the black mist was no longer mist, it was forming shapes. Long, thin arms of shadow reaching toward the ship. "Commander Ellis." Reltor yelled. "What is this?" No answer. Static roared in the speakers, then Ellis's voice broke through, strained and urgent. "It's the field, it's reacting to your energy. I'm sending interference pulses, but you need to cut everything. Right now." "Everything?" Cerna said, panicked. "That includes life support. Do it or you'll never leave." Reltor hesitated for only a moment before shouting, "Cut power now." The bridge went dark. The hum of the ship vanished. Only the faint emergency lights remained, glowing like dying embers. Everyone froze. Outside, the black arms stopped moving. The ship floated silently in the void, surrounded by motionless darkness. No one dared speak. Even breathing felt too loud. Minutes passed. Then Ellis's voice came back, quiet and clear. "Good. It's backing off." Reltor exhaled slowly. What is that thing?" "I don't know," Ellis admitted. "Some say it's a natural phenomenon. Others believe it's a weapon from an ancient war. All I know is, it listens, and it remembers." "Remembers?" Cerna whispered. "What does that mean?" "It reacts to signals it's heard before. When I first came here, it mimicked my distress beacon for weeks. It learns." The crew stared at each other, speechless. The horror of what he said sank in. "Commander," Reltor said slowly, "how long have you been trapped here?" There was a long pause before the human answered. "Longer than I should have survived. I've lost count of the days." His voice sounded tired, almost empty. But then a spark of determination returned. "I've studied the field. There's a way out, but it's dangerous." Reltor straightened. "Tell me." "At the center of the shadow zone there's a pulse, a kind of heart. Every few cycles, it releases energy. If we time it right, it can push us clear of the field. And if we time it wrong, we'll be torn apart." The bridge went silent. Cerna looked at her captain. "You can't be serious. We can't risk that." Reltor stared at the flickering image of the human ship on his screen. "That man risked his life to save us. If there's a chance to escape, we take it." "I'll lead the way," Ellis said. "But you'll need to follow exactly. One mistake and the field will consume you." The transmission ended. The alien crew sat in stunned silence, processing what they had just heard. Finally Reltor spoke, his voice steady but cold. "Prepare the ship. We follow the human." Cerna hesitated. "Captain, what if he's wrong?" Reltor looked out into the swirling darkness. "Then we die trying to live." Outside, the human ship's engines flared weakly, a faint light cutting through the black mist. The Voron's light adjusted its course, aligning behind it. As the two ships moved deeper into the shadow zone, the darkness around them began to pulse. Slow, rhythmic, like the heartbeat of something ancient and alive. And far away in the shadows beyond sight, something opened its eyes. The alien warship Vorkale floated on the edge of life and death. Its engines were weak, and its lights flickered like dying stars. Captain Reltor stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic screen where a faint human signal still glowed. For hours, he and his crew tried to understand how a human could reach them in this dead zone. Every scanner said the same thing: there were no other ships nearby. No relay stations. No satellites. Nothing. And yet, the voice came again. "This is Commander Lewis of the Odyssey. We're closing in on your position. Hold tight." The sound of a human voice filled the silent bridge. The crew exchanged fearful looks. Reltor clenched his claws around the command rail. "That's impossible," he whispered. "No human ship should be here." His first officer, Vekare, trembled. Maybe it's a trap, Captain. Pirates could be using human signals." Reltor nodded slowly. "Perhaps. But if it's real, it could be our only chance." The captain turned toward the broken console and opened the comm channel. His voice cracked as he spoke. "Commander Lewis, if you can hear me, we are heavily damaged. We have no power, no engines. We're dying." There was static. Then a quiet laugh came through the speakers, warm, confident, and strangely human. "Then it's a good thing we brought a tow line, Captain." The bridge fell silent. The aliens looked at each other in disbelief. Reltor swallowed hard. "You're really human?" "Last time I checked," Lewis replied. "Now stay calm. We're going to get you out." For the first time in days, hope returned to the crew's faces. A few even smiled, something they had forgotten how to do. But then the scanners lit up. Alarms blared. A red signal appeared behind the Vorkale. "Captain?" Vekare shouted. "Multiple signatures incoming. The pirates, they found us again." The bridge plunged into chaos. Weapons were offline. Shields were dead. The Vorkale couldn't even turn. Reltor gritted his teeth. "So that's it. They'll destroy us before the human can reach." He opened the comm. "Commander Lewis, turn back. It's too dangerous." But the human's voice came through firm and steady. "Negative, Captain. We don't leave people behind, not even aliens." A bright flash appeared on the main screen, a single ship exiting warp. Sleek, silver, and unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. It was small, far smaller than the pirate cruisers, yet it moved like lightning. The Odyssey. The human ship dove straight into the pirate formation. Blue energy beams cut through the darkness. Explosions followed, lighting up the void. The aliens watched in stunned silence. One pirate ship exploded. Then another. The Odyssey twisted and rolled between them, moving faster than any alien ship could track. How can a ship that small fight like that?" Vekare whispered. Reltor didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the screen, his heart's pounding. Through the static, Lewis's voice came again. "You said you were dying. Not today." A massive explosion shook the stars as the last pirate cruiser went silent. Only debris floated where the enemy once was. The Odyssey drifted through the wreckage and came to a stop near the broken alien ship. "Captain Reltor," the human said, calm but tired, "we're attaching the tow line now. You'll be safe soon." Reltor felt his throat tighten. Why would you risk your life for us?" There was a pause. Then Lewis spoke softly. "Because once, long ago, someone did the same for us." The human ship extended its tow cables. The alien crew watched as the glowing lines locked onto their hull, pulling the Vorkale slowly toward the light of a distant star. As the engines of the Odyssey burned bright, the human voice came again, softer this time, fading through the static. "Hang on, Captain. You're not alone anymore." Reltor looked at the stars, his reflection shining in the cracked glass. For the first time he believed it. The Vorkale drifted slowly behind the human ship Odyssey, pulled through the black silence of deep space. The alien warship was broken, half dead. Yet for the first time in weeks there was light on the bridge. Human light. Captain Reltor stood at the viewing window, watching the small silver vessel ahead of them. It was unlike anything he had ever seen, compact, elegant, and powerful. Its engines glowed blue-white, leaving trails that shimmered across the void. His crew whispered in awe. "That ship, it destroyed an entire pirate fleet by itself," said Vekare quietly. "How can a species like humans do that?" No one answered. Reltor felt a strange weight in his chest, something between admiration and fear. Humans were known in the galaxy, but not well. Stories said they were survivors, fighters, stubborn creatures who refused to die even when the universe told them to. And now one of them had saved him. The comm system crackled to life again. "Captain Reltor, this is Commander Lewis. You're stable now. We'll reach safe space in 6 hours." "Commander," Reltor said, "we owe you our lives. But tell me, how did you find us?" "No signal should work here." There was silence for a few seconds. Then the human replied, his tone calm but distant. "Let's just say, we were listening where no one else does." The answer sent chills through the bridge. "Listening?" Vekare asked softly. "But how?" Reltor didn't respond. Something in the human's voice felt strange, like he was hiding something. Hours passed. The alien crew repaired what little they could. The static that once filled their ship was now replaced by the faint hum of the Odyssey's engines. Then, suddenly, the scanners flashed again. A new signal appeared, massive, powerful, and close. "Captain," shouted Vekare. "Another ship incoming. Big one. Much bigger than the human vessel." Reltor's blood ran cold. Pirates again? He stared at the screen, but it wasn't pirates. It was a dreadnought. A colossal alien warship of the Kroth Dominion, one of the most feared factions in the galaxy. "By the stars," whispered Reltor. "That's a Kroth hunter. They kill everything that enters this region." The human voice came again, perfectly calm. "Captain Reltor, stay behind me. Whatever happens, do not transmit anything." Reltor froze. "Commander Lewis, what are you planning? That ship could crush both of us." But the human didn't answer. The Odyssey slowed down. Its engines dimmed. It turned to face the dreadnought alone. Inside the alien bridge, everyone watched in silence. The Kroth warship was 10 times larger than the Odyssey. Its weapon cores glowed red. It was a monster made of metal. A voice thundered through all channels, deep, cruel, mechanical. "Unknown vessel. You are in restricted territory. Identify yourself or be destroyed." Reltor wanted to scream into the comm, to beg the human to flee, but something stopped him. Lewis's calm voice came through instead. "This is Commander Lewis of the United Earthship Odyssey. Your presence here is a violation of Interstellar Accord 9. The Kroth captain laughed, a harsh, metallic sound. "The Accord is dead. Humanity has no authority here." There was a pause. Then Lewis said quietly, "Then you're about to find out how alive we still are." The human ship moved. One moment it was still. The next it vanished. Reltor blinked. The Odyssey had engaged something far beyond normal warp, a flash so quick it bent light itself. The dreadnought fired, beams cutting across space, but they missed, hitting nothing but shadow. And then, the human ship reappeared inside the dreadnought's defense ring. Blue-white flares erupted. The Odyssey unleashed a silent storm, gravity pulses, plasma spears, energy so bright it blinded sensors. In seconds the dreadnought's shields collapsed. Then silence. The alien crew stared at the screen. The dreadnought drifted, burning from the inside. Its core went dark. The mighty warship, destroyed by one human vessel. The bridge of the Vorkale was silent. Only the sound of heavy breathing filled the air. Reltor spoke softly. "How is that possible?" His first officer whispered, "What are these humans?" The comm came alive again. Lewis's voice was faint, tired, but steady. "Target neutralized. You're safe now." Reltor leaned closer. "Commander, who are you really?" There was a pause. Then Lewis sighed. "We're not part of your known fleets, Captain. The Odyssey is from the Sol Defense Network, a division that doesn't officially exist." Reltor frowned. "You mean, a secret fleet?" "We protect the silent borders," Lewis said. "Places the galaxy abandoned. You were never supposed to die out here, not while we were listening." The alien captain couldn't find words. Humanity, once mocked for being weak, had just destroyed a dreadnought with a single ship. And they were still out here in the dark, watching, saving those no one else would save. Reltor bowed his head. "You risked everything for us, and you expect nothing?" Lewis's answer came quietly. "We expect one thing, that when the time comes, you'll remember who came for you." The comm fell silent again. The Odyssey turned toward the nearest star system, dragging the Vorkale behind it. In the distance, the wreckage of the Kroth dreadnought burned like a second sun. The stars grew brighter as the Odyssey pulled the alien warship Vorkale through the dark. For hours no one spoke on either bridge. The silence felt heavy, almost sacred. Captain Reltor couldn't stop thinking about what he had seen. A single human ship, destroying a dreadnought. A calm voice saving them from death. And a message that haunted his mind. We were listening where no one else does. What did that mean? How long had the humans been out here, alone in the shadows? Finally, a light appeared ahead. Not a star, but something larger. Something built. As the Odyssey slowed, Reltor saw it, a vast metallic ring hidden inside a dying nebula. It shimmered faintly, cloaked in distorted light. Ships, small, fast, and silent, orbited around it. Beccare gasped. "Is that a human station?" Reltor nodded slowly. "Yes. Hidden, invisible to scanners." The comm came alive again. "Welcome to Listening Post Epsilon, said Commander Lewis. "You're safe now." The Odyssey guided the alien ship into a docking corridor that unfolded from the station like a silver arm. The alien crew stared through the windows as they passed hundreds of human ships, sleek, deadly, and unlike anything in known records. When the airlocks opened, Captain Reltor stepped out. For the first time he saw a human face. Commander Lewis stood waiting, tall, calm, wearing a dark flight suit. His eyes were sharp but kind. "Welcome aboard," he said, offering a hand. Reltor hesitated before shaking it. "You saved us. But why hide a base here?" Lewis smiled faintly. "Because the galaxy stopped looking." They walked through the quiet corridors of the base. Everywhere Reltor looked, humans worked silently, repairing ships, studying signals, monitoring strange cosmic activity. He noticed something else: exhaustion. These humans looked like soldiers who hadn't rested in years. Finally, they entered a large chamber, the command observatory. In the center floated a holographic map of the galaxy. Thousands of red dots pulsed across it, spreading like disease. Reltor frowned. "What are those?" Lewis's voice hardened. "Those are systems falling to the Croth Dominion. You've seen one of their hunters. There are thousands more." The alien captain's throat went dry. "You mean, they're expanding?" Lewis nodded. "Faster than anyone knows. The Council ignores it. The unions argue. So humanity watches. And acts." He turned toward the stars. "We don't fight for politics. We fight for silence, for those who can't call for help." Reltor stared at him, realizing the truth. "This base, it's not for war. It's for rescue." Lewis smiled slightly. "Sometimes, Captain, the only way to save a life is to destroy what hunts it." Hours later, the alien crew rested inside the human medical wing. Machines healed their wounds. Soft light replaced the cold darkness they'd lived in for weeks. Reltor stood alone at the viewport, staring at the stars. When Lewis joined him, the alien spoke softly. "Your people, you could have stayed hidden. You didn't have to help us." The human commander shrugged. "Maybe. But then we wouldn't be human." Reltor turned to him. "You risked your ship for strangers. For aliens." Lewis looked out into the void. "My father once told me, out there the only thing colder than space is silence. We don't let anyone die in silence, Captain." Reltor felt something stir inside him, a deep respect he hadn't felt in years. He nodded slowly. "Then humanity is far stronger than the galaxy believes." Lewis chuckled quietly. "Strength isn't about how hard you hit. It's how long you keep standing after the universe hits you." Suddenly, alarms echoed through the base. Red lights flashed. A human officer rushed in. "Commander, we've got a breach in the outer perimeter, Croth ships incoming." Reltor's heart pounded. "They tracked us." Lewis snapped into command mode. "All units, battle stations. Evacuate the alien vessel and power defensive grid." Through the viewport, the black of space filled with enemy ships. Dozens, maybe hundreds. The Croth had come for them. Reltor turned to Lewis. "You can't win against that many." Lewis grinned faintly. "We don't need to win, Captain. We just need to remind them who's watching." The Odyssey launched from the dock, followed by other human ships, small, agile, moving like shadows. The nebula lit up with explosions. From the station's command deck, Reltor watched as the humans fought, coordinated, silent, relentless. Every Croth ship that entered the field was met with blinding counterfire. Then the Odyssey charged forward again, engines glowing brighter than ever before. Lewis's voice came through the calm as always. "Captain Reltor, it's time for you to leave. Take your crew. Tell the galaxy humanity is not gone." Reltor shouted, "You'll die out there." But Lewis only smiled. "Maybe. But the silence will end with us." The Odyssey surged forward, colliding into the center of the Croth fleet, unleashing a burst of pure white energy that shook the nebula itself. When the light faded, the Croth ships were gone. Only drifting fragments remained, and a quiet whisper through the calm. "You're not alone out there." Weeks later, the Vorkale returned to alien space. The Council of Worlds refused to believe Reltor's report. They said no such human base existed. No ship could do what he described. But Reltor knew the truth. Somewhere in the quiet dark, humanity was still watching, still saving, still listening. And when the galaxy's silence returned, he sometimes heard it, faint and distant. That same human voice breaking through the static. "You're not alone out there." The alien warship Voron's light drifted through the cold darkness of space. Its once bright engines were now dead. The hull was cracked, leaking slow streams of glowing gas that vanished into the void. Inside, the corridors were silent except for the low hum of emergency power. Captain Reltor sat in the command chair, eyes fixed on the shattered screens before him. Each display flickered weakly, showing red warnings in a language that meant only one thing: the ship was dying. He could hear the labored breathing of his crew. They were tired, broken, and afraid. The oxygen level was dropping. Power cells almost empty. Hope gone. They had been ambushed by pirates, machines and scavengers that hunted lost ships in the dead zones between star systems. The battle was short and brutal. They had fought hard, but their attackers had torn through the shields and vanished into the storm, leaving the ship crippled and alone. Now they were trapped in a communication dead zone, where no signal could escape. No one knew they were here. No one ever would. One by one, the crew sent out their farewell messages, short recordings meant for families who would never receive them. The messages played softly in the background, a haunting mix of voices fading into static. I was proud to serve. Tell my children I saw the stars. Goodbye. Reltor closed his eyes, listening. The words hurt more than the wounds. He had sworn to protect his crew, and now they were dying under his command. He clenched his fists until his claws scraped the armrest. This is how it ends, he whispered. Forgotten in the dark. The ship creaked, metal groaning as if the void itself was pressing against it. Tiny sparks danced from a ruptured cable above the bridge. The smell of burnt circuits filled the air. Lieutenant Cerna turned from her console. Her eyes were dull, her voice flat. Captain, life support will fail in 2 hours. Reltor nodded slowly. Begin shutdown sequence. Save power for the medbay. Yes, Captain. The crew obeyed in silence. No one cried. No one screamed. They were past fear now. There was only the waiting, quiet, endless waiting. Reltor looked out the front window. The stars looked different now, cold, distant, watching. Somewhere out there, the galaxy was alive. Fleets moved, worlds thrived, and wars continued. But none of it mattered anymore. He lowered his head. Forgive me, he whispered to no one. Then a sound. A faint crackle of static from the comm station. Reltor frowned. Report. Cerna blinked, confused. Captain. I think I heard something. The static grew louder, shifting in tone. For a moment, it almost sounded like a voice, but it vanished again, buried under noise. Reltor stood. Trace it. All channels. The crew moved quickly now, energy returning to their tired hands. They tuned frequencies, adjusted filters, and boosted what little signal power remained. Then, through the static, something clear, something impossible. Unknown vessel, do you copy? The bridge froze. Every alien on the deck turned toward the speakers. The voice was soft, calm, and unmistakably human. Reltor's heart began to race. It couldn't be. No human ships were known to travel in this region. They had no colonies, no bases, no reason to be here. Cerna whispered, Captain, that's a human voice. Reltor didn't answer. He leaned closer to the speaker, listening again. Unknown vessel, if you can hear me, respond. The words echoed through the silent bridge like a ghost. Is this real? One officer asked. Or, are we hallucinating? Reltor stayed silent. He had heard rumors about humans, how they once fought in ancient wars, how they disappeared beyond the core world centuries ago. But that was history, legend. How could a human voice reach them here, in the most silent corner of space? The static returned, louder this time, and for a moment the voice broke through again. You're not alone out there. The bridge lights flickered. A deep hum rippled through the ship's hull. Cerna looked at the captain. Captain, should we respond? Reltor hesitated. His instincts screamed trap. But his heart, his dying hope, wanted to believe. Open the channel, he said quietly. The comm lights glowed faintly. Channel open, Captain. Reltor's voice trembled slightly as he spoke. This is Captain Reltor of the Voron's Light. We are stranded. Who are you? Only static answered. The bridge held its breath. Seconds stretched into eternity. Then at last the voice returned, clear, human, and impossibly steady. This is Commander Ellis, United Earth Vessel Dawn Seeker. We've been listening. Reltor's eyes widened. He stepped closer to the console. That's impossible, humans don't. The signal cut again, leaving only static. The crew stared at each other, uncertain if they had just witnessed a miracle or the last trick of a dying mind. Reltor's claws tightened on the console edge. For the first time in days he felt something stirring inside him, something fragile and unfamiliar. Oh. Outside the window, A faint glimmer appeared in the distance. Maybe it was a star. Maybe it was something else. But for the first time since the ambush, Captain Reltor whispered not to himself, but to the void. "Whoever you are, human, don't stop." The static answered with a soft, broken reply. "You're not alone out there.